Year 2200. The silence that hung over what was left of Earth was deafening. Oliver woke up under a starry sky, with the wreckage of the last battle still fresh around him. The smell of burning and molten metal filled the air. He got up slowly, feeling the weight of his tired body and the memories of the conflict still vivid in his mind. With cautious steps, he made his way to a suitcase left by a fallen superior, hoping to find some medical equipment that would ease his pain. When he opened the suitcase, in addition to the basic supplies, something caught his attention: a sheaf of carefully stored documents. As he leafed through them, he discovered confidential information about a project at the military base that could change the course of the war, and who knows, the Earth itself. It was an experimental vehicle, a component for ships that would make them incredibly faster and more efficient, thanks to a newly discovered alien technology. Oliver's heart raced. This was not just a piece of engineering. It was a hope, a possibility of change amidst the despair that enveloped the planet. Memories of shared smiles and deep conversations under the stars gave Oliver the strength to carry on, even as his world seemed to fall apart. He clung to the belief that one day he would find Emily again. The pain of having been responsible for sending her away on a journey to a distant solar system consumed him. Yet he knew that this was the only way to keep her safe, away from the devastation wrought by the aliens. Still, Oliver could feel her presence, as if somehow Emily was by his side, helping him find his way through the darkness that enveloped the devastated land. The hope that she was safe was what kept his heart beating as he navigated a world in ruins. Oliver promised himself that he would keep fighting, not just for himself, but for all those he loved. He looked up at the night sky, where the colossal orbital station stood like a silent sentinel. Once, this imposing structure represented the pinnacle of human progress, a gateway to the stars, allowing interplanetary travel. Determined to find a solution, Oliver made his way to a former military base, fueled by the hope that he might discover something that could make a difference. Along the way, he passed deserted streets and crumbling buildings, remnants of a once thriving civilization. His every step reverberated in the oppressive stillness, echoing the loneliness of an abandoned planet. The futuristic city, now in ruins, seemed like a mausoleum from a lost age. The imposing buildings that once throbbed with life and color were now shrouded in wild, uncontrolled vegetation. Vines twined around the steel and glass structures, lending the scene a paradoxical serenity, as if nature were slowly reclaiming what was left of human work. In the ruined city, Oliver found a few slightly damaged but still functional robots, remnants of a technology that had once served humanity. Some of them were still able to speak, their mechanical voices echoing through the desolate city. Approaching a fallen robot, Oliver asked, "Have you seen any survivors around here?" The robot, its body partially destroyed, replied in a hesitant voice, "Yes, there are survivors, but I haven't seen them in a week. One of them stole my legs. Can you help me? I need to feed my cats." Driven by a mixture of empathy and a need for information, Oliver examined the robot. Its arms were badly damaged, but there was still hope of repair. With skill and patience, Oliver managed to repair the robot's arms, allowing it to walk on its own 2 feet. The robot, now able to move again, expressed its gratitude with a simple bow that seemed more sincere than any human words Oliver had heard in a long time. Wasting no time, the robot began to descend the subway stairs, determined to fulfill its mission of caring for the cats, an echo of humanity lingering amidst the desolation. As he walked through the deserted streets, Oliver couldn't help but reflect bitterly on what had happened to Earth. Humanity had begun to thrive at an unprecedented rate, exploring the far reaches of the universe and coming dangerously close to unknown star systems. It was this boldness that aroused the ire of the aliens, who were not pleased to see humans traveling so close to their territory in the solar system. To counter this emerging threat, They resorted to a lethal and subtle strategy, the manipulation of extremophile bacteria. These bacteria, known for their ability to survive in extreme conditions, such as high temperatures, intense radiation, and highly acidic or alkaline environments, became the perfect biological weapon. The aliens genetically engineered these organisms to become even more resilient and lethal, ensuring that they could survive an interstellar journey and patiently wait for the moment of devastation. The asteroids sent towards Earth contained these extremophile bacteria, dormant inside them, protected by layers of rock and space ice. Humanity has managed to deflect some of these asteroids, causing them to orbit Earth instead of colliding directly with the planet. However, aliens had already anticipated this possibility. They designed these asteroids so that, as they heated up during their passage through the atmosphere, they would gradually release extremophile bacteria. Once in the Earth's atmosphere, the extremophile bacteria began to awaken. They were designed to withstand solar radiation and the thin ozone layer, surviving the hostile conditions of the stratosphere. When they finally reached the lower layers of the atmosphere, they found the perfect environment to proliferate and begin their devastating mission. These bacteria were unprecedentedly lethal. Many were thermophilic, able to survive and thrive in high temperatures, making them especially dangerous in tropical and equatorial areas of the Earth. Others were resistant to radiation, allowing them to survive nuclear attacks or decontamination attempts. Humans were taken by surprise, and the first wave of infections decimated a significant portion of the world's population. The human response came in the form of nanobots, small devices designed to identify and neutralize biological threats. Programmed to protect exclusively the human body, nanobots became a crucial tool in the fight for survival. Powered by body heat, these nanobots were self-sustaining, absorbing and converting the heat naturally generated by the human body into energy for their operations. These nanobots provided a continuous defense against bacteria and other pathogens that were always present in the environment. However, their effectiveness depended on regular maintenance. Humans needed to periodically re-inject these units to ensure continued protection. Without the nanobots, the human body was once again vulnerable to these threats, which were always lurking, ready to attack at any sign of weakness. This interdependence between the human body and the nanobots created a unique symbiosis. While the body provided continuous energy to the nanobots, they, in turn, ensured survival against the invisible threats that had always surrounded humanity. The environment was hostile. The air was thick with dust particles and toxic residues, the result of the devastation caused by the alien invaders. Oliver walked cautiously, feeling the weight of each step. Each breath he took was a reminder of the protection the nanobots provided, filtering the contaminated air and neutralizing any biological threats that might enter his body. The sense of safety, however, did nothing to lessen the tension. As he made his way through the ruins, the silence was unsettling, broken only by the muffled sound of his own footsteps. Occasionally, Oliver thought he heard sounds of movement in the distance, but he quickly realized that they were merely echoes generated by his restless mind, exacerbated by loneliness and fear. The feeling of being watched never left him, even though he knew that, in reality, there was no one around. As Oliver read through the soldier's digital diary, a new passage caught his attention, one that seemed more personal, almost desperate. The words were charged with emotion and urgency, as if the soldier knew that these would be his last moments. "Anna, I apologize. I know you don't like me, but if you do, I'll never know. I always had hopes for a cause that seemed lost, and here I am, in the middle of this battlefield, lamenting that despite all my efforts, it never made a difference to you. I know your feelings are mixed, but it seems that in the end, it never mattered how hard I tried. Facing a challenge I never imagined I could overcome. I had to inject myself with some experimental nanobots. I know this means nothing to you, but in that moment, I forgot about everything. about us, about the world, and defied human physics itself. Oliver felt a chill run down his spine. The experimental nanobots were the stuff of urban legend among soldiers, something most only whispered about in hushed conversations. They promised superhuman powers, but at the cost of a drastically shortened lifespan. No one knew for sure what happened to those who wore them, but the rumors were grim. These nanobots, they gave me extraordinary abilities. I, who had always been just another soldier, suddenly found myself capable of unimaginable feats. With my bare hands, I destroyed alien ships, breached their defenses, killed their warriors. I know this may mean nothing to you, but for a brief moment, I became something more. Something beyond human. Oliver read on, feeling the weight of the soldier's words. He could picture the scene. The soldier, transformed by the nanobots, facing the aliens with unbridled fury, slashing through their ships with an alien sword he had taken. The words captured not only the violence, but also the tragedy of a man who knew he was living his last days. The people who used these nanobots before me didn't last more than 20 days. I know my time is running out. I hope your future is bright, that you find someone better than me, because true love has no limits. My love for you has no limits, Anna. I know I don't know you as well as I would like, but I wish I had this chance. These are my last minutes, and I will die fighting. I will die trying to make sure that at least others have the chance that I didn't. Oliver watched the last recording left by the soldier, a final message captured by the cameras built into his suit, which also controlled flying mini-robots, strategically placed across the battlefield to record everything. The video showed the soldier, transformed by the nanobots, moving with almost supernatural speed and strength. With an alien sword in his hands, he cut through metal as if it were paper, destroying entire ships with precise and devastating blows. In the final moments of the recording, the soldier seemed something beyond human, a figure both tragic and heroic at the same time. His fury and despair were evident, but there was also a strange serenity in his eyes, as if he had already accepted his fate. Anna, the soldier's voice echoed through the recording. If you're watching this, please remember that I fought until the end. Not for glory, not for honor, but because I loved you, in a way that even I didn't fully understand. Goodbye. The recording ended, leaving Oliver in silence. He turned off the diary and placed it back in the soldier's hand, feeling a deep and respectful sadness. He stood up, the weight of that man's story now adding to the burden he already carried. With one last look at the battlefield, Oliver headed towards the military base, knowing that the sacrifice of that soldier and many others like him would not be forgotten. Even in the midst of destruction, humanity still found ways to love, fight, and leave a legacy, however brief.